The information on this new tornado warning, if we can get that to pop up. Tornado warning, Harrison County. It also includes Jackson County. It's going to go until 5:45. And that is going to extend, or let's see, no, tornado warning until 6:30. Sorry, that information just popped up right as I was reading it. So until 6:30, that new tornado warning, which includes Harrison and Jackson County. So let me just clear all this off the screen. Basically, if you live in Gulfport, basically from, let's just say the harbor, the marina, Jones Park, all the way up towards Courthouse Road, including along the tracks and just north of the tracks, heading up towards Highway 605, Cowan-Lorain, you need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions because this circulation most likely will be crossing the highway there. So basically, downtown Gulfport, from about Jones Park, traveling Highway 90 going east, that includes, let's see, the Shaggy's area. That's going to be Salute that's nearby. We're going to also be near the Courthouse Road, the Ken Combs Pier there. That's where that circulation is going to be, just kind of thinking of some of those landmarks that you may be familiar with as we track the circulation. So it's still pretty well defined. I would argue that maybe the most significant part is still just over the water, but it is moving off towards the north and towards the east in general. So that's why you need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions. But keep in mind, the tornado warning, watch, let me just kind of clear the screen there because it is just a little messy to look at. But if I go ahead and pull up, let's see, just our warnings, so you can see just our warnings and kind of clear things, you can get a better idea of what's happening. So there's just the warning right there. Let's zoom in. You can kind of clear things up. Sometimes it's just easier just to see where the box and who's in the box, who's in the polygon. So that tornado warning includes basically from Gulfport, it goes all the way down 90 in Biloxi with the immediate threat basically from 605 to downtown Gulfport. D'Iberville, you are included in this tornado warning. Tornado warning also includes St. Martin. So just be aware of that. And it extends north over into Jackson County. Lamy Bridge Road is included in this.
Hey, Eric,
also, we'll mark it.
The new velocity scan has this offshore 96 miles per hour.
Okay, I'm getting some reports, Carrie, showing the new velocity scan. Okay, so right there by Beach Drive. Oh yes, look at that. That is a very intense circulation. Let's go ahead and take your tornado precautions if you live along Highway 90 in downtown Gulfport, all the way up towards Highway 605 there, Cowan-Lorain, where the Ken Combs Pier is. Let's go ahead and just err on the side of caution with this particular circulation, as it is showing up fairly intense on the radar. Let's see if I can do somewhat of a query on here, kind of look at maybe some of the wind speeds and directions. Actually, we might have a little bit better idea of that with Carrie. Let's go back to Chief Meteorologist Carrie Duncan. She was just telling me she had some more information on the velocity information on the storm.
All right, Eric, that just scan just updated. It was at 96 miles an hour. Now, because it's moved past, we're looking at 70 miles per hour. So again, this is situated just south of 605. So this is still, it's looking like offshore. I'm going to have to step off the screen to get another look at it. But where that yellow is, that is going to be the most intense. That's 87 miles per hour right there. What I want to do is put a little bit of a track on this. So as this continues to move off toward, it looks like it's moving a little bit toward the east-northeast, and that would put it really skirting the Harrison County coast once you get to Biloxi, and then over into Edgewater Park around 5:52. So that's in about 5 minutes. And then looking at, let's see, let's move out just a little bit more so that we can see where we would put a track on this particular cell moving off toward the north and east. And then that would of course include Ocean Springs, Biloxi 604, Ocean Springs 610, and then Hickory Hills. And that's of course if it stays together. But what we are seeing right now is a very powerful, what's probably a water spout that does look like it will be moving on land and could certainly cause some issues, especially when we look at the velocity on that, and we move in a little bit closer. Part of it is over Highway 90 right now, just east of Mississippi City, and basically right on top of us. That is certainly what we're hearing outside, and it is really, really rowdy outside the station right now. Looking at 100-mile-per-hour winds just offshore, so I would expect to see some damage with this. And as Eric has been saying, definitely you need to be taking your tornado precautions seriously. If you are along the beach area anywhere, basically south of Pass Road, I would say, certainly you need to be taking your tornado precautions. And this, I would say, all the way along the coast, even in Biloxi, because as this moves up, we're going to be watching it continue. As you look at it move, you'll see that trajectory of where it is moving. And let's go back the last 30 minutes. So this is just the past, I guess, about 10 minutes, and it is moving very quickly, and it's moving off toward the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So, you know what, I'm going to have to change that of what we're doing with it. So we've got 45 mile per hour speed, and now let's do this on what's happening here. And we'll move it up, and you'll notice that Edgewater Park now at 550. So that's really right now. It's going to be moving very quickly. Beauvoir at 552, and then we go ahead and move even farther out. And I want to put track on this. It's changing because now this is reading from the Mobile radar. That's the color switch that you're seeing. But I do want to do, since I'm on here, go ahead and do this and go over into Ocean Springs. So it's looking like 6:04 for Ocean Springs. Biloxi about 6 o'clock. This is a very powerful storm, and we are going to continue, of course, to track it. And we have a lot of rain coming down with this cell, and you can see that tornado warning extending up into Jackson County. So this is showing that northeasterly movement with this storm system, and then there's more down to the south. So that's all going to continue moving up as that line pushes east. For a little bit more on this and a more in-depth look, back to Eric Jessel.
Yeah, Carrie, we're just keeping a very, very close eye on this circulation. We still haven't had a confirmation of anything on the ground, but the radar signature is very convincing this evening as we're watching the circulation now. And you can see it. I really don't even have to point it out. I believe we have the Beauvoir cam. You know, if we have tower cams, just go ahead and pop them up so we can kind of see them. It is a little bit difficult to hear you while you're telling me that in here, but just let me know and just pop up. So we're looking at the Beauvoir tower cam, and we're looking west. So we're looking into the storm right there along the beach there. But the circulation is right there on Cowan Lorraine, 605 there, right on the beach. The main circulation may be just offshore, so it's kind of not wanting to come on shore, which is good news. If we just keep this over the water, that would be great. But the trajectory of this continues to take it off towards the north and towards the east, and eventually could be moving very close to DeBees Road. So what's around DeBees Road? Well, the Edgewater Mall. We also have Pass Road, so areas along Pass Road where the Hobby Lobby is maybe needs to go ahead and take their tornado precautions as this storm continues to move on through. Let's go ahead, and I believe I'm getting another information in my ear here. What's that? Okay, never mind. So again, going back to the velocity here, it looks like we got another scan. It's a little difficult to kind of tell. It looks like maybe the circulation could be over into Crossing Pass Road and where DeBees is, but it's kind of hard to tell just looking at this. And so as I take a look, yeah, I would argue that the circulation might be sort of just right over where the Edgewater Mall is. And some other good news is it doesn't look as tight as it was. Maybe if we can show, I am hearing the wind on top of the roof here at the station, so I did hear something up there. Let's go ahead and take the tower cam. Let's look at the Hancock Whitney Bank tower cam. That should be pointed off in this direction. We are hearing the wind pick up, and by the way, WLOX is located near the Edgewater Mall, so we're very close to this, and our staff is taking precautions just in case something tries to touch down. But again, there's DeBees Road, there's Pass Road. It looks like the circulation may be crossing there, maybe heading up towards Pops Ferry, so Pops and Pass near the Starbucks there, or the Walgreens, and maybe heading up into where Planet Fitness is, where the old Winn-Dixie was. So all those locations, go ahead, take your tornado precautions. The good news is I still haven't seen any reports of any damage with this or anything touching down. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but we are continuing to watch it very, very closely. Let me put this into motion again. And you can see that circulation kind of pushing through. So lots of very heavy rain, lots of lightning, strong winds with this as it continues to move on through. Let's hop over back into the newsroom.
Carrie, I think, is going to take over. The rain is really coming.
Well, we also want to
come
comment very quickly that a lot of people are beginning to experience, not a lot, but a handful of people are experiencing power outages. We received a map for Mississippi Power in Harrison, Jackson, and George counties, and we have seen some power outage
maybe a couple
data.
hundred on and off, but it seems like most people have power right now, as far as we know, anyway.
And we've extended our 5 o'clock show, obviously approaching 6 o'clock. We're going to go back over to Carrie Duncan right now.
All right, we are watching that tornado warning, and we're with you because, again, we are seeing a very convincing circulation. We have not had any reports that this is a confirmed on the ground, but we are seeing some pretty impressive numbers, wind-wise at least. We saw up to 100-mile-per-hour winds at one point with this circulation, and as it moves up toward the north and east, folks really do need to be, again, taking their tornado precautions. That is the lowest level of your house, away from any windows, and definitely go ahead and get in the centermost portion of your home. Now, taking a look a little bit closer in, I'm going to show you over the past 30 minutes what we're seeing. You can watch this rotation move on shore, and that is where we're seeing that little bit of the our senses peak up, and our spidey senses, if you will, go, this does not look good. So we want folks to realize where this is. I'm going to zoom in on this area so that you can see. And keep in mind, this is a scan. So this is right at Pass to this is in that Biloxi area just north of Pass Road, but west of Pops Ferry. So we are watching the Big Lake Road area, Goose Point, and down, it's moving, it looks like over Pops Ferry, perhaps right now at least part of it is, and maybe even down into the Pass Road and Atkinson area. Again, this is a very traveled and high traffic area, and this is a live look at Ocean Springs. Is this from our storm tracker? Okay. This is a live view. This is one of our reporters in Ocean Springs, and this system is headed that way. And I definitely want to make sure that they are safe and in a safe spot as this storm system is going to be heading their way. But it is a great look of the electricity with this storm. And we are, again, let's see if we can get some type of a circulation number, 45 mile per hour, 57 mile per hour winds. And that did just move over the station. We were hearing the wind really getting rambunctious outside our studios, and so that is what is headed to our east now. And again, we are right on the line of Gulfport and Biloxi, and so when we look at Edgewater Park, we are sitting right at DeBees Road, and WLOX sits again right in this area here. So that moved right over us, and if we go back and look, you'll notice that that area certainly the circulation went over. Now, right now, it is still looking like it is, there's a marine warning, okay, an aerial flood advisory too for Hancock and Pearl River County as we're going to continue to watch the system push off toward the north and east at 45 miles an hour. So this thing is moving very quickly, and we do want to make sure that people are in their safe spot because this could, certainly produce, that's 87 miles per hour right there. And that is, again, just, let's see, just north of Pass Road. You're looking at that over Veterans Avenue. So right around the Veterans Home, Power Circle, Fairchild Drive, Rodenberg Avenue. It's headed that way. And so folks on the north side of the bay in Savannah Estates Boulevard, Brasher Road, and then Bayside Drive, Wetzel Drive, be aware, get in your safe spot because this is headed your way. We're talking very gusty winds, and that is going to continue moving toward your area. So here we have 17. Let's look at some of the blues. We're looking at 87 67, and then still gusty winds, 72 down even in East Biloxi, Division Street, Back Bay Boulevard. Look at some of these winds that are down and just sitting along the coast, 77 miles per hour. So we are not, I'm trying to get back and look at our tower cams to see if I can see anything. When we see those flashes of lightning, if we can see any type of rotation or water spout being lit up by the, yeah, I can't really see that much, but I-10 heading toward Biloxi, I believe. What do we have with I-10 headed toward Biloxi? Do you have a video? Okay, there we go. Is that our storm tracker? Okay, our WLOX First Alert storm tracker on the road on I-10, you said? I-10 headed east to Biloxi from Pass Christian. So they're behind that line, and we'll be following that line all the way through, because as it moves through Biloxi, it's going to be heading right into Ocean Springs. And really, those winds are on the cusp of downtown Ocean Springs right now. 63 mile per hour wind gust sitting along Fort Bayou, and then we've got some sitting just off the coast, 59 mile per hour winds. These are, again, some big time winds that are heading toward the coastline. And over east Biloxi, 65 mile per hour winds. So we definitely have severe thunderstorm winds in place, but we do also have that tornado warning in place. We don't have anything confirmed yet, which is good, but we certainly could see some thunderstorm wind damage with this. And as we go back over the past 30 minutes, you can see that circulation is kind of lifting, which is good news, right over d'Iberville, but we've still got all of the wind that's staying behind it and with it. So as we move in closer and show you again these winds that are approaching Ocean Springs, look at these. You're looking at 59, 58, I mean, and then some offshore even higher in the mid 60s. So we've got a lot of very strong winds that are headed toward Ocean Springs, St. Martin area. That's all moving to the east. Let's go over to Eric Janson, see what you have for us now.
Yeah, we just have a little bit of an update on the tornado warning. So that tornado warning no longer includes areas right along the coast. So Gulfport is cleared from the tornado warning. Downtown Biloxi is now clear from the tornado warning. Basically, from Woolmarket, I-10, d'Iberville, St. Martin, and the Biloxi Ocean Springs Bridge there, that's essentially where we are seeing the tornado warning beginning, and now it carries over into Jackson County, over towards LaRue, includes Van Cleve. It also includes Highway 57. So basically, Jackson County, a tornado warning from Highway 63 to 57 along Van Cleve and north, down towards d'Iberville and Woolmarket. So areas in the clear now. Gulfport, downtown Biloxi, and areas in between along Highway 90 and Pass Road. We are seeing that tornado warning updated, no longer included there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the wind speed and direction, the velocity product. Again, that tells us how the winds are moving in the storm. And we're not seeing the tight circulation that we saw earlier, and Carrie was zoomed in on this. However, we are seeing still very strong winds over crossing the Biloxi Ocean Springs Bridge. In fact, I'm looking at the IP Casino Tower Cam right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's pop that up into one of our boxes. That looks like an MDOT traffic cam. But right now, if we can pop up the IP Casino Resort and Spa Tower Cam, I'm not sure where that there we go. So if you look on the bottom, you can see the IP tower cam, and where that car is coming in, that's going to be the I-110 bridge, and you can see the wind really whipping the rain around, and we're seeing a very low visibility because of that heavy rain and wind. If you look very closely, it looks like Carrie is turning the tower cam towards I-10. Really not a good time to be on the I-110 bridge. You can see the cars there barely, as it's almost kind of like these white wall, whiteout conditions with these strong winds gusting, according to radar estimates, anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. And you can see the wind is whipping the rain around there. So let's go ahead and kind of look at some of the winds. So what we're looking at is right here, the I-110 bridge. That's what was just showing up in the tower cam. but this area of blue that you're seeing along the Ocean Springs-Biloxi Bridge, those are some very strong winds as well. So let's see if we can plot some of these. So radar is indicating winds right there at Point Cadet, essentially, of 78 miles per hour. That doesn't necessarily mean it's reaching the surface there, but we are seeing elevated winds over in Ocean Springs as well. Looks like winds just above the surface, anywhere from 59 to 60 miles per hour. Over towards Gulf Hills, it looks like we're seeing winds 56 miles per hour. So this is crossing Biloxi Bay, Back Bay, crossing over into Jackson County. Here's Ocean Springs, Washington Avenue. So you're all seeing that the very strong winds, and it looks like downtown Ocean Springs, maybe the heaviest rain hasn't really gotten to you just yet. So downtown Ocean Springs, this is really starting to move right up into you, Washington Avenue. We're just going to go up the board here. Here's I-10, St. Martin, very heavy rain, strong winds with this. Riding over towards DeIberville, the I-110 bridge, heavy rain, strong winds. That tornado warning continues in these locations. Let's head up further into Jackson County, going towards Van Cleve and Old Fort Bayou, Jim Ramsey Road. We're seeing very heavy rain, strong gusty winds with this particular line as it continues to push through Jackson County. And again, there's also a ton of lightning with this as well, kind of a wider view here of Jackson County. So areas that really haven't seen too much yet, Escatawpa, Pascagoula, you haven't seen too much. Needing an update over into Stone County and George County. Right now, there are no at least significant storms at the moment for Stone and George County. No warnings in that location. That tornado warning was allowed to expire. That was for George County. Earlier, that has expired, but right now, the main tornado warning, or the only tornado warning in the viewing area, is for extreme southeastern Harrison County, extending up from Woolmarket, DeIberville, St. Martin, up into Jackson County, which includes LaRue and also Van Cleve. So we can just kind of put this back in motion. Lots of heavy rain, strong gusty winds. And you can sort of see, if I stop the radar again, you can sort of see where that polygon is. That's where the tornado warning is. But we're also kind of seeing a little bit of a surge of the winds where that circulation might be continuing to push through. So that's where those areas of strong winds we were just looking at on the radar. So again, if we're not talking about your location at the moment, it's mainly because there are no threats, at least, or severe weather threats in those locations. But just kind of taking a wider view of everything, if you live in Pearl River County or Hancock County, you're in the clear now. So Pearl River, Hancock County, you're pretty much done. Also in Stone County, you're pretty much done. The severe threat with this is mainly along and east of that line of storms. So basically, I'm going to draw this line here. If you live in Jackson County, extreme eastern Harrison County, and also somewhat of George County, you're still in the severe weather threat. If you live further west, even including western Harrison County, like Gulfport and Long Beach, past Christian, those locations looks like the severe weather threat is over west of that line there. So a little bit, put that back into motion here and kind of zoom back in into Jackson County. So again, we're really keeping an eye now on Jackson County as it looks like the worst is starting to cross over into that location. Pause the radar. Let's go ahead and take a look at the wind again. It's still seeing some pretty impressive winds aloft, but still not seeing that tight circulation that it was earlier when it was just south of Gulfport Harbor. So I'm hearing we're getting some new information coming into the newsroom. Let's head over to Hugh Keaton.
Yeah, Eric, thank you as we are continuing to follow this severe weather situation throughout South Mississippi, and we will continue following it right after this short break.